I like cleaned houses on the side. I'll fucking scrub a toilet for money. I have no ego whatsoever. I will do whatever I have to do to make it work. But I fucking hustled.
It's time for the Just Go podcast. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Just Go podcast. I'm your host, Nick Glassett. Today, I am joined by a friend that I met on a reality TV show called The Blox, B-L-O-X. Her name is Amanda Sakach. She has a premier med spa in Denver that is called Purity Skin Studio. So, Amanda, what is up?
What's going on, Nick? Hi, thanks for having me on today.
Yes, it is very good to see you. I love talking and hanging with the Bloxers, man. So I think you're the third Bloxer that I've had on the show, and it always makes for great conversation because of the craziness that we went through on the show and like all the bond that you make, right? And then obviously because everybody's entrepreneurs that's on the show, so I absolutely love it.
Yeah, it's cool to have like a group of people that like get it. You know what I'm saying? Like you have your friends, your homies you grew up with, your family, but unless you go through something like the Blox with somebody like they just get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like it's one of those things you can't explain too. Like anybody that's listening or watching right now is like, that sounds great. Like, what are you guys talking about?
Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
but we're like all, romantic about the Blox. So
Yeah.
okay, so tell everybody basically who you are. Give us your 60-minute commercial or 60-second commercial here. Just kind of tell everybody who you are, what you do, and what's going on.
Yeah, so I own and operate Purity Skin Studio. We are the premier med spa of South Denver. Won best of the best last 5 years in a row. We specialize in skin health and really just transforming skin and helping people love what they see in the mirror. We know not everybody wants to look like a Kardashian, so we don't believe in societal norms. We just want to help people feel good about what they see. But I've been doing this. I've been in the industry for 20 years, and I just started a YouTube channel called Obsessed with Skincare, where I really just break down all the bullshit that people see on a regular basis and give you real expert advice from a real expert. And that is Obsessed with Skincare.
Yeah, I went and checked out the YouTube channel yesterday to kind of get prepped a little bit for this show, for this interview. And like, not that you have a ton of videos up already yet, but all the ones that you have up, I thought were awesome. And I know nothing about skincare, right? As a guy, and like that's just never been in my world. Like, yeah. But the information was all super cool. And then the way that the videos are produced and edited was very professional, very YouTube. Like you're off to a good start. I applaud you.
Thanks. It's been a labor of love, man. I really started it because I just, we have so many people that walk in every day and they're like, oh, I tried this thing from this influencer on YouTube. And I'm like, this 20-year-old that's never had skin problems doesn't know shit. And she's telling you to buy the wrong stuff. Like, you need to listen to somebody that actually knows what the fuck they're talking about. So one of the things I really like preach on there is like, just because I'm saying this doesn't mean that it's, gospel, but like go find somebody in your area that's like educated and licensed to like help you, because there's just so much misinformation on the internet and it's not going to go away. Like it's just going to get worse and worse. So until experts like me like chime in and say, this is what the fuck is up, people just don't know any different. So it's been a labor of love.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So take me through, if you don't mind me asking, I kind of want to ask some YouTube questions right up front. Because as I meet a whole bunch of people, and then especially as I've kind of grown in my own YouTube channel and like whatever my online presence, I guess you could say, the number of people that want to start a YouTube channel is really high. Like everybody wants to start a YouTube channel, right? But then almost fucking nobody does. It's like frustrating. So yeah, tell me your kind of your story with YouTube so far. If I see some opportunities for me to interject some things that I do that work, that I know work, I'll tell you. But I think it'll be a great story for everybody to listen to because of how many people want to start a YouTube channel.
Yeah. If you have any advice, I am all freaking ears, because I'm one of those people, like, I want all the feedback and I always want to learn how to be better and how to grow and how to do things better and faster, without having to fail so many fucking times. Right. So I actually started filming like almost 2 years ago. I started with one like videographer that was doing stuff for like my med spa too. Um, and it was just, it just took forever to get some of the videos up and running. So then I started working with another videographer that does like branding for my med spa. But it's a lot of time. It's a lot of time to do the videos, and I want to have them edited correctly. I want to have it look good. I want to have it, have a professional like presence. So it's a lot. time. I cannot stress that enough. And so we literally just launched a couple months ago. But it's been something that's been like on my heart for years. And it's interesting because whenever I talk to people that do YouTube or like marketing people, I'm like, how do I get it to grow? And they're like, there's no such thing as an overnight sensation at all, period, on YouTube. They're like, it doesn't happen. Anybody that thinks it is, they're an overnight sensation to you, but they've been on YouTube for years, like just building and building and building. So I'm just in that stage right now. I just want to keep building and growing and like getting the audience, but I don't really know how to do that just yet. I mean, I just keep throwing content out there. I know that my content's good and it'll last. So when people do find me, it'll be good information for the next several years. But yeah, it's just a lot of time and a lot of love that you got to put into it. And just know that what for me, it's like I do it. Do I eventually want to like monetize on it and have it be this big channel with like lots of subscribers where people are like listening to me and buying from me? Absolutely. But like the core at why I did it is because I got so freaking tired of people walking into my spa trying shit from people that don't know shit that they heard on YouTube. I'm sure you hear it too all the time. Like, well, I saw this YouTube video, this guy did it like this. I'm like, well, that guy's a fucking idiot. He doesn't know
Yep.
shit. Like, why
Yep.
don't you
Yeah.
listen to the expert? So, yeah, that was the biggest reason. And that's kind of how it all started. And that's the core of why I do it. And so I have to remind myself that when I see that, I only have 133 subscribers and I'm wanting to one day be at 10,000. I'm like, everybody starts somewhere. And at the end of the day, I've got 133 people that are subscribing, and that's freaking awesome. And I love every single one of them. So,
Cool.
that's where
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I mean, I remember the early stages, like so back when I launched mine in spring of 2021. When I got to like, yeah, like that 130, 150 mark or whatever, for me it was just kind of like, holy shit, it's gonna work. Like I went from 0 to 100 and something, and it was way too much work to get 100 followers or 100 subscribers, right? But it was kind of like, oh my God, it's going to work. And I remember like having to try and explain that to my wife, right? And I have my hands in so many different things and I have so many different projects that she's kind of like, yeah, okay, another one, let's see. And then as it worked, she was like, fuck, this is kind of crazy.
That's cool. That's cool. I'm excited to see. It feels weird because like I've literally been filming for almost 2 years the content, and then it was like I had all this content. I'm like, well, now what do I do with it? And I don't even know how to get up. I don't know anything about YouTube or how to start a YouTube channel. And I run, a $1 million med spa with 12 employees, and I'm still an operator. I'm still a provider. I'm managing. So it's like I'm a mom and a wife. It's like, you got all this shit and it's like, and then I've got all this content. I don't even know I'm not tech savvy by any means. So then I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do with all this? So, it's just, you just keep putting one foot in front of the other and you just keep figuring things out little by little. And I'm excited to see what it could do though, because I know the information is good and I know it's like gonna last. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right. That's for me for doing YouTube. That was one of the things that why I went so hard is because I know I can make one video that if I do a good job, it will be the video on that topic for inflatables forever because it's not gonna age. It's evergreen.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. And so yeah, a lot of your content probably sounds like it's gonna do the same thing where you'll have that one video that will just kind of start to tick. Yeah. So here, let me back up. I'll give you some advice.
Yeah.
So my best video, like, no, I'm gonna back up even further. So I was posting videos and like I was editing them myself. I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. Like the shooting was terrible, the voiceover was terrible, the editing was even worse, right? But it was just kind of like figured out. And then I actually posted a video into a YouTube or into a Facebook group and said, check out this video I just shot. It was very rudimentary, but I'm thinking about really going hard on YouTube for bounce house related stuff. What do you guys think of this? And the Facebook group fucking loved it. And so
That's awesome.
that piece of content, being able to test it before I went hard on YouTube was monumental because I knew kind of the blueprint. Like I accidentally stumbled across it, right? But if you can do the same type of thing, if you have access to Facebook groups that are big and prominent, you can go test a video in there and just see what happens, right? And
A really big spider right next to me. Hold
oh
on.
God, kill it. That's funny.
Freaking huge.
Did you get?
Oh Well, I didn't get it. Hold on one sec.
Yeah, you're good. No worries. Oh, that's funny. So everybody that's watching right now, now you know this is real, right? This is real and uncut, unscripted. B, my kids are not started school. So they started school yesterday. So I planned this interview for today with Amanda. And then it turns out that only half the school started yesterday and half the school starts tomorrow or today. And so they don't go to school today. So at some point in time through that door right there, my 5-year-old daughter is definitely going to walk in, but most of you guys see her anyway. And then my 9-year-old son could too. So we're just going to kind of roll with it because I think it makes the show a little better. So
Holy shit. I like almost had a heart attack. It was like the biggest spider I think I've ever seen. And I'm in the spa right now in a treatment room. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't let this get out the door. And then, okay, I'm back. Cool, calm, collected.
Awesome. That was awesome. Okay. So what was I saying? Yeah. So I had some shitty videos up, right? Then I shot that one kind of like a how-to video and it got a good reception, right? So if you have like, is there Facebook groups for skincare that are big, that are not bullshit?
Yeah, I need to like look because I'm like, so let me ask you this. Do I put it in like a group with like a bunch of other like estheticians, or do I do it in like a community group? Because the people I'm reaching out to are like consumers, not other professionals.
Yeah,
So
if you can get in front of other professionals,
okay.
because that was right. Because where I put it in the Facebook group was all a bunch of bounce house business owners. You know what I mean? And
Okay.
so yeah, so I would put it in there because they're the one that's going to tell you like, and careful, those Facebook groups get pretty feisty. People are just very honest, right? But they'll tell you like that's great, or it's to this, it's to that, like whatever, right? They'll give you the feedback that will be very, very, very content driven, right? So that's kind of once I started making the right kind of content, right? I was like filming myself doing a pickup and then doing a voiceover. It was very boring and crappy. And then I got the good feedback on that video. It was like, okay, that's what I'm gonna start making. So then the next thing I did was we shot a super long video. It's like 52 minutes. Okay. It's a whole day of me out dropping off bounce houses. And then the next day, a whole day of me picking them all back up. Right. And I'm talking to the clients. Like it's very, very real. Like I text all the clients like, hey, we're shooting a YouTube video. But like literally like Brooke is, filming me while I'm like knocking on the door, like everything. Okay. Then she takes it and edits that all down. It ended up being 52 minutes. We put that up on the channel. And it started doing really good, like really fast. Right. And I was nervous because it was so fucking long. But because it's so content heavy, like when I'm hammering in anchors, like I'm talking about how to hammer in an anchor, talking about how to fold a tarp. Like there's some of the times I'm doing something, I'm talking about what it's like to be an entrepreneur, what it was like to quit my job. Like it's just action packed the whole time, right? With content. And so it does well. Then the next thing I did was I discovered an app called vidIQ. Have you ever heard of it?
I've heard of it, but what is it?
So are you familiar with SEO at all? Like for your website?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have an SEO gal or guy, or do you do it yourself?
No, I have an SEO person.
Okay.
And the SEO people that I have for my website don't do anything with YouTube. So they're like, we can't help you with anything there.
Which is okay. Do you know any SEO? Like, do you know what they're doing? Your SEO person is doing
for my website? Yeah. Some of it.
So basically what they're doing is they put keywords in certain spots that Google wants to read and will push you up the front page of Google. Okay.
Yeah.
YouTube's owned by Google. So YouTube's the exact same thing. However, it's much, 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 much simpler.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So download the vidIQ app. I think I pay $15 a month for it. But basically what you want to do is don't go make a video about, like I saw you had one about sunscreen, right? Don't go make a video about the different ways to put on sunscreen if nobody's searching for different ways to put on sunscreen.
Okay.
So you use vidIQ to go in and search for topics, for keywords, and then something will pop up, right? That you're like, that ranks that high, right? Foundation makeup in January, whatever, something weird. And so then from there, you kind of reverse engineer what's getting searched. Yes. So instead of making video and just throwing shit at the wall and see what sticks, you go see what people want, right? And then vidIQ ranks it based on how often it's searched and how much competition there is. So
Okay.
you go search for something that is searched all the time, but like Forbes.com has 6 videos on it, or CNN has videos on it, like you got no shot, right? Because those channels are huge. So you kind of are going in there looking, and it vidIQ will just rank it for you. But you're looking for that sweet spot where it'll tell you it just turns green, right? And you're like, this one's a fucking 56. I could make this video right now on my, just shoot on my cell phone. Like I know exactly that topic.
Okay,
So
cool.
then you start making videos that people want to go see, right?
Do they
While I'm
have
there,
like categories?
what's
So would
that?
I put in do they have like categories? So like in vidIQ, I would just like search like skincare or something like that, and then it will tell me like the top things that are being
Yeah.
searched for
So
that.
go in there and search skincare, and then like you hit another button and it like gives you all these topics. And it tells you like this one's like the score of 20 and it's red because it's like there's too much competition. And you'll scroll down and the ones that you'll make videos on that will work the best will be kind of obscure, generally speaking. I have
Okay.
no idea how competitive the skincare space is on YouTube, but yeah. Oh, yeah. So then you go make those obscure videos. And so whenever, right, it's going to have lower search volume than something massive like exfoliation. Like, dude, you're not going to rank for exfoliation because it's going to be huge. But
Look at you knowing about exfoliation, Nick.
got you. Come on.
I love
Yeah, but it's
it.
like if you have like exfoliation of your elbows or whatever, right? It'll rank well. So once I started doing that, so I actually used vidIQ and went back and re-optimized all of my old videos, which I mean, there was like 4 or 5 instantaneously. I'm talking the next day, 3x views, like the next
God,
day. And
I
so
like
then,
have fucking goosebumps right now. This is like the best info I could possibly
oh,
get.
it's yeah. So that super long one, right? That 52-minute video has historically been, from the day we posted it till now, has been my best video, and it still is. But that video got to like 5,000 views in like 2 weeks once I went back and
Okay.
you add the tags, and you do research, right? And you get the correct tags, the hashtags, and then you want to have, and vidIQ will kind of tell you what to do with this, but the description's got to be a specific way. Like everything in there is done to basically talk to YouTube or tell YouTube what this is and where it should go. So then it knows how to, then YouTube will know how to suggest it in search or the next video, that kind of stuff. Like it'll start to show it to people. And so then once I went and optimized those 3, 4, 5 videos that were in there, the channel like instantly did that, like whoop,
Okay.
hockey
Cool.
stick. And then from there, you got to do that on every video, right? And it is a little bit labor intensive. But from there, things started to succeed, and that's kind of the foundation, right? Once you start to get better at that stuff, then you can start to worry about shit like your intro. You can worry about shit like the thumbnail. Like the thumbnail matters so much. But they're a pain in the ass to make, right? But now I'm really experimenting with my thumbnails and seeing way better results. Like videos I'm posting now are up to 2 to 10,000 views infinite times faster than they used to, because I think, right, you don't really know, but because I think I've got the thumbnail thing figured out.
Okay.
One thing I would tell you on yours, right? So your branding is black. I saw a thing the other day that said that 75% of YouTube users have it in dark mode. So if you have anything that's black, it just blends right into the background and nobody can see it.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. So try and figure, like if you would still want to have like your logo be black or whatever, just make sure that the majority of the thumbnail is green or red or whatever, so it'll pop off
Okay.
the page. And then the other thing I've been really working on is, now, I don't know if you like, do you watch YouTube often?
I mean, I try to go in there. I try to like look at like what other people in my industry are doing, like dermatologists and nurses and estheticians and skin influencers and things like that.
Yeah, so I've kind of started actually going and watching, like I watch probably the first 2 minutes of every Mr. Beast video he ever posts, because I don't really give a shit about all the driving a train into a hole or whatever he's doing, right? But the first 2 minutes are very key. And if you watch how he, or the other big channels, right, your Ryan Trahans or like all the other big guys, the first, even like the first 10 seconds of the video is always straight to the point, right? It gets right into the action, especially Mr. Beast's videos. Like there's no intro, like today I'm going to pay an FBI agent to try and chase me down. Like the video starts and there's an FBI agent tied up behind him and he throws 10K at him and runs away. And like, as he's introducing the video, like the video just starts.
Okay.
The other thing that, because of the autoplay feature, so if you scroll YouTube, the video will just automatically start playing, but it's muted. So we're starting now to put subtitles at the very beginning of my videos. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but that way, when I pop on the screen, you know, and I say, today I'm going to teach you how to whatever, it's popping up. Boop, 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 boop. So the person that auto scrolls to it can see what I'm saying. Then they tap the video, right? Then it goes to an ad and then my video starts.
Okay.
So
I
those are
like
all,
that.
those are all kind of advanced.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'll take anything and everything because I want it to be successful because I mean, I've been in the industry for 20 freaking years. I mean, I was like a regional trainer, like I own my own spa, like I've trained hundreds of freaking estheticians across the country. Like I know my shit. I
Right.
just want to like get it out to the masses, you know?
Yep. So
And
that's,
it's like, yeah.
yeah. So do work on all that stuff. And then, yeah, just text me like if you have questions or want other feedback or whatever. I've kind of gotten my business to the point, right? Knock on wood, but like I've got managers in place and an office manager in place who's like a ninja with spreadsheets and amazing. So now it's kind of like I don't got to worry about the businesses as much because I've got the right people in place to where I get to play CEO now, kind of.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to really try to double, triple, quadruple down on the YouTube thing because as you grow, like, and I think you will grow too, because like you're well spoken, you're smart, you know your shit, your videos are made well. Like as you grow, your life changes like this much every time you post a video, right? Or a good video. Every time you post a good video, something new happens, something new happens, something new happens. And I kind of told my wife, I'm like, I'm ready to like put it all in and just do this,
Yeah.
just make videos because of how much my life has changed from pre YouTube to now is just nuts.
Well, yeah, I mean, I saw your post on the Bloxers Facebook page, and I was like, damn, that's what's up. Like, that's, you know, sometimes you get so like as entrepreneurs, it can be lonely, right? You get so like up in your own world. And so when you see something like that that inspires you, you're like, that's the kind of people I need to surround myself with. Those are the people I want to talk to. Those people I want to hang out with, have drinks with, and like learn from, because that's how you grow. You don't grow when you stay in your own lane, in your own box, you know?
Yep, for
So
sure. For
thanks for
sure.
having me on. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited. This is like cool stuff. I like to learn. I'm
Cool.
always up for it. Like that's why I love the blocks. It was really fun. I don't know if I told you that I was sick as shit when I was there.
Were
So
you
I
the
had
whole time?
the whole fucking time. I was on medication. I wasn't contagious anymore, but I had the flu. I've
Oh,
never had the flu before. It was worse than COVID for me. I
oh, the
was
flu
like,
will whoop your ass.
it was, and you know, it was like at that time because we filmed in what, January. I was like, the day after Christmas, I went to the emergency room because I was like so deathly ill. And then they didn't want to give me medicine. They're like, oh, now it's too late. You've got to wait, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, I have to fly in like a couple days. Like, you got to give me something, like, because I can't cancel because then you're just like, you're out of it. You know what I
Right.
mean? You don't get your chance again. And I was like, I'm not fucking missing this. And so I went back and I was like, you got to give me a steroid pack. You got to give me something. And so I'd started steroids like three days before, but I was like, I felt like shit the entire time. The second to the last day, I think it was, I had to walk out of the class because I was throwing up.
Damn.
And I couldn't stop throwing up. I had to freaking go to Target to get more medication. It was, I'm like,
That's
so I really
rugged.
want to do it again when I feel like healthy and normal. So
Yeah, that's crazy. Because we were in the same room. It might have been day 5. It might have been the last day.
yeah, day 5 was the day I was starting to, I think it was day 4 then when I was like throwing up and feeling like the worst. It was like, because I was like trying to power through and then I got more medication and just like doused myself in so much fucking medication. I was like so doped up, but I was like, I just got to like get through this and not cough and like freak everybody out that I have the virus, you know? So day 5, I was feeling okay. And that's when I fucking kicked it. The most ass I've ever kicked there was day
Yeah,
5.
yeah, because I think that's when you were in my same room with me.
Yeah. That's when I
Yeah, that's
won.
cool. Yeah, yeah, you won. I
Yeah.
remember that because I went up and did mine. I'm like, I fucking killed that. Like, we're good to go. And then you went up and did yours. I'm like, Because I was like,
You know,
I
you know
know.
what's funny? It was the technology one that I went on, and I'm so not tech savvy. Like I called my husband that night and he was like, shut the fuck up. You did not win. He's like, you can't even like, you can barely do an email. But because I built my business from the ground up with no help. So I had to go through everything on my own. I had to figure out how to like do all the things. And I've been in business for 6 years. So like I knew how everything integrated because I'm the one that did that. And when it's in my industry, I can figure it out. When it's technology outside of that, fuck out of here. I'm hiring somebody, right? But when it's, in my niche, I got it. So I was feeling pretty good that day.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, no, you did a great job. So, all right. So tell us about the med spa, like, because I don't really know that much information about it either, other than what you kind of had in your pitches at the show.
Yeah. So I started out, it's interesting. So I've been in the industry for 20 years. I'm from Kansas City originally, go Chiefs. And then we moved to Denver 8 years ago. I just fell in love with the mountains and I was like, this is where I want to be. So I lived in Denver for about a year and a half and I hated it everywhere I worked. Colorado is a very different state than Kansas. It's like the Wild West out here. Basically anybody can do anything and it's fucking scary and it's highly unethical at a lot of places. And I basically had like a nervous breakdown to my husband. And we were in the garage and I was like, I hate it here. I hate every place I work. They're unethical. They're like, I'm not going to treat people like shit. I'm not going to lie to them. I'm not going to, I mean, I literally worked for somebody that told me to sell somebody a service that was $1,500 laser treatment that was already way overpriced for what it was. And the woman didn't even need it. But she said she drives a Tesla. She can afford it. And I'm like, I'm not going to fucking sell somebody something that they don't need just because they can afford it. Like, I don't roll like that, right? Like, I'm not going to tell somebody that ever. I like everything I do is based off integrity. I like genuinely just want to help people. So my husband was like, well, why don't you just like start your own thing, work around the kids' schedule? Because we didn't have like any friends or support out here at the time. And I was like, I don't have any clients. I don't know how to run a business. The fuck. But I did it. I started in a solo salon, just in a little tiny 10-foot by 10-foot room and joined like networking groups and just like learned from people, started taking classes and webinars and figured it out. And on my 1 year anniversary, I got a storefront with 6 treatment rooms, rented out a couple of them. And now 6 years later, we are full-fledged med spa. We have a nurse that does like injections for like Botox and filler. We have 2 laser techs. It's crazy to think I have like $300,000 worth of like laser equipment, and I started 6 years ago with like zero. And we have had anywhere from 40 to 60% growth year over year. This year's a little bit slower for us at like 30% year over year, but like we're killing it because we just treat people the right way. And so everything we do is just to help everybody that walks through the door just love what they see when they look in the mirror. Like I'm
Yeah,
not
that's
here to
amazing.
tell you that you have to not have wrinkles or look like somebody else. I just like want to help you love what you see when you look in the mirror because it makes a fucking impact on your life when you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see.
Right.
So we can help people.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, I've noticed when I talk to somebody, then they're passionate about what they do. They have that piece where like, I just saw that this sucked, or I saw that this was unethical or whatever. And I want to help them do it correctly. I want to treat people right. And when you have yourself grounded in that, the success, right? And you have to execute. Like you can't be a dingbat and lazy, right? But if you have that as your foundation, I think the success will just follow you because you don't burn out. Basically, you
Yeah.
don't burn out because you're doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah. And that's what I tell like my team all the time. I'm like, we'll always take a hit. Like if we mess up, we give it free, we discount, like whatever, we'll always take the hit. I'm like, because you've got to do the right thing to treat people the right way. And the success will always come. Yes, we're a business and we have like sales goals and whatnot, but I always tell the girls, I'm like, if you do things the right way, the sales will come, the money will come, people will refer you, the clients will come to you when you do things the right way. You don't have to lie to people. You don't have to try to sell them shit that they don't need. Just take care of people. Just do the right thing. It's not that hard.
It's not, and the impact is like understated. What you can do.
Yeah.
All right, we have an intruder. Okay,
Oh,
you want to
she's
get on
so
the you want to get on the show? You want to say hi to people? No.
she's so cute.
Mommy's iPad.
Okay, I'll help you in just a minute. Okay. Cool. All right. So, okay, I do have a question for you, right? So, and I'm going to kind of try to ask or frame this question from like the past, right? So back when I was a corporate employee, I wanted to leave and start my own business so bad. Similar stuff to what you're talking about, only not like not unethical stuff, but I just was like tired of following rules and I like wanted to make up my own rules, right? And I
Yeah.
remember having this feeling of extreme self-confidence. Like I know I can quit my job and go be successful, but the gap between working for somewhere and then getting clients, right? I was just like, however, I just don't know what I'm going to do to make money. Like I know I'm going to crush it. Okay. So as you're kind of going through that journey, what, I don't know if you can, let's see if I can frame this right, how I want the answer to be. Like, what did you do? Like, how did you go from, right? Because a lot of people that watch my content are new entrepreneurs that are like, um, good for you, right? Yeah, but you have all this now, blah, 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 blah. They're just starting out. So do you have advice you give people? Do you have tips, tricks, whatever, to go from zero to at least like sustainability monetarily?
Yeah. Fucking hustle your ass off. I mean, so I'm married, so we had other income. My husband was not making what he was used to making at the time though either. We had some rocky things when we moved here. Like we just, moved from Kansas City to Denver thinking, oh, we'll make the same amount of money and everything's gonna be fine. And then it's so much more expensive here and we did not make the same money. So it was like shit. But I like cleaned houses on the side. Like I'll fucking scrub a toilet for money. I have no ego whatsoever. I will do whatever I have to do to make it work. So for me, I literally cleaned houses on the side to make ends meet. And, we had to cut back on certain things, but I fucking hustled. I went to find every networking group and I was so incredibly uncomfortable. Like I was going to like B&Is. For those of you that don't know what a B&I is, it's a Business Networking International, and it is a very prestigious professional like group of people, and you pay a lot of money to be in there to get leads. And I walk in and I was like shaking. I was so nervous. I had to stand up in this room full of 50 people of like CEOs and lawyers and like, all these like big wig kind of people. And I'm like, I'm an esthetician. I do facials. Hey, I mean, I sounded a little bit more polished than that, but I remember freaking out because I just thought, oh my God, I'm the tiniest fish in the biggest pond right now. And I felt so uncomfortable. And the president of that, I love him, and his mother's actually a client of mine to this day, 6 years later still. He stood up and started clapping and he said, hey, we've all been in your shoes before. Every single person here has started somewhere. We're here to support you and help you. And I like ran out of there crying in the bathroom. And I was like, oh my God. And I went home to my husband. I was like, I think I found my people that are going to like help me. And I like met everybody for coffee and I like just asked questions. And I learned like, what did you do? How did you do this? What did you do for this? And I'm like always into like, how can I learn and grow? And like, they say that you shouldn't try to like get knowledge for free, but fucking try. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
who says that? That sounds great to me.
Well, no, they always say like, when someone says, "Oh, I want to pick your brain," like you should always charge them, right? Like I'm
Oh,
thankful that I've met so many people that like didn't. They're like, "Yeah, let me help you out. Let me give you some piece of advice to get you going." Especially when it came to like bookkeeping and like building business and like, paperwork and like attorneys and things like that you don't know. And I'm like, I don't have the money to go pay an attorney X amount of dollars to get legal advice right now. Someone want to give it to me for free, you know? So I just really I did everything in my power. Like I literally worked 7 days a week, 14 to 16 hours a day. I went to every freaking networking group. Some of them were awful. Some of them were shitty. Some of them didn't pan out at all, but you just keep going. You keep going and you keep learning and you just do everything you can possibly do and you give it your all and you just don't give up.
yeah.
Period.
That's, I think it's
Period.
spot on advice. And it's one of those things like my story is much different, but much right has a similar. I drove Uber. Like right? And I do pick people like, what the fuck are you doing driving Uber? I'm like, well, I just quit my job. So a big tip would be appreciated over here trying to start some companies.
I mean, yeah, you do what you got to do. And it's funny now because, I'll hire somebody now at the spa and all they see is that, we're $1 million med spa and, I drive a nice car and I look, the part of the CEO of the med spa and everything. But it's like, look, I was sitting there twiddling my thumbs, posting on Facebook when there wasn't a single person that wanted to come in and see me in a tiny fucking room when nobody even knew who I was. And like asking my clients to please leave reviews, asking for the business and getting on groups to find where people needed a house cleaner. Hey, I'll come do this, to make extra ends meet so I can like buy more product or so I can buy a Facebook ad or so I can like so I can buy a $75 entry fee into this like networking group to pass out like discount cards or something, right? Like you do what you gotta do. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Go
you
ahead.
can't understate the amount of effort that it takes to get up the mountain.
Yeah, I mean, I've been working almost full time since I was 13. You know, I've had when I first met my husband, I was a single mom and I worked 3 jobs. So I'm like not afraid to work. I enjoy working. And I just like think about the future too. Like I do listen to a lot of like motivational stuff on YouTube. I like love David Goggins and like ET, you know, and that kind of stuff. And so it's like you gotta believe in yourself. And so I just kept saying, like, I know what I'm capable of. I just got to like, this is just the chapter. This is just chapter one, you know? And it's like, you just got to tell yourself, like, this is the chapter I'm in right now. But if I keep working, I'm going to get to the next chapter and then the next chapter. And it's just going to keep getting better, you
Nice.
know? And right now we had a little bit of, what's the word? Turnover at the spa, which we haven't had in years. And then, so that was a little bit like off-putting and stuff, but it's like, this is the chapter, right? So now as we bring on these new people, I'm starting to see that some of our SOPs aren't SOP, standard operating procedures, for those that don't know what that is, are not as solid as what I thought. And I'm like, well, shit, this,
Do
I'm
you
glad that
have
we have to
like,
do this because now I have to see all the things that I have to fix.
because I think I remember having a conversation with you about that at the Blox, right?
Probably. I
Your
hate SOP.
training. It was a training. It was like a training conversation we were having.
Yeah. Yeah. I was looking at Trainual at the time because I think Wes had talked about Trainual. But I'm actually looking at Leap some right now because that has like way more than just training. It has like your HR, it has management, it has a bunch of other stuff to it too. But
Shit,
yeah, I mean,
great when you get big.
yeah. So, but it's like, you know, like I've had what I thought was like good training, but then it's like you bring somebody else on that doesn't know what I know. And then I'm like, oh shit, there's like all these gaps. So
Yeah.
it's been rocky to still be an operator, and I've hired a management team, but then understanding that like they don't have the right SOPs either. Like my SOP is like this, and it needs to be like in this, you know, so they know every single thing about every aspect. But it's like you just keep learning, man. You know, it's like you just keep learning and growing and doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, because I noticed when I started bringing employees on 2 years ago, is like I was the bottleneck, or I was like the answer. Like, because everything I did up until that point was very quirky. Like I made it all up, like, and I knew it all. Like I knew all the shit. And I started hiring people, and I'm like, oh, I screwed this all up. Like I have to redo everything to try and remove myself from the equation. And I have done a decent enough job at it to where now it's right. I am out of the equation. But like I couldn't flop my entire staff for new people and be up and running in 2 weeks. You know what I mean? And that's kind of where I want to be, where it's like
Yeah.
all the stuff we do is very streamlined, but there still is kind of some stuff that, yes, Trevor and Isaiah and Roman, like they know, like this is what we do, but it's still just, we only do that because that's what Nick told us to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not, yeah, not like structured.
Yeah. And for me, it's like we do so many different services and we deal with so many different people with so many different skin issues. And there's, you know, I mean, I have, I don't know, probably 150 to 200 different retail products sitting on my cabinets right now that are worth, I don't know, over $10,000. And everybody needs to understand every single product and who you retail it to and who you don't. And if one person has a reaction based on this, how you fix it, like there's just so many different little parts that it took me 20 years to understand. And how do you put 20 years worth of experience into an SOP? You
Right.
know, it's a lot. So, but we're working
Yeah.
on it. But it's good. I like when I get negative feedback because it tells me where I can grow. And I like when I find a problem because it's a challenge and it's a way to grow and be better and come up with a better solution.
Yeah.
I don't always need so much at once, but you know, I'll take it.
For sure. So what do you have plans of stuff for the future? Like obviously you're going to continue to grow your spa, but do you have other projects you're looking at launching, or other avenues, or what are you up to in the future?
So we've got about 2.5 years left on our lease here. And so it's about 1,700 square feet, 6 treatment rooms on a lobby, break room, bathroom, office. What I want to have is like a 7,000 square foot building that I own, anywhere between like 6 to 8,000 square feet. I want to have double the treatment rooms. I want to have like an IV lounge, a numbing lounge. I want to do like a training facility to be able to train all of Denver. I also want to grow the YouTube channel. And the YouTube channel actually connects to like our e-commerce line, which is obsessed with skincare.com, where we sell skincare online. So I
Yeah.
want to have that as another stream because we have so many clients that will live here for a short period and then they move out, then they move away. So now that they can just go online and keep using the same products. I would love to eventually speak at like conferences, for like a set of conferences and help people build businesses from the ground up because I feel like I've done a really good job. I mean, the fact that we've had, our slowest growth of year is 30%, and we had one year that was over 100%. I mean, even in 2020, we were 40% over 2019
Dang.
with being shut down for 2 months. But it's like, because I think on the fly and it's like we did like at-home kits and this and that. And I feel like I've been in the industry for so long and I have so much to like give. I'd like to eventually, I don't know, speaker, trainer, something like that. Just
Yeah.
keep growing.
So I actually have my first keynote that I was asked to give. It's in January. And so I've got to, yeah. So I think it's going to be in front of 500 people at a conference. Like that's how many people will be at the conference. How many people will be at my keynote? I have no idea. But I'm super stoked for it. But I'm kind of feel like I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself because I'm like, I want to crush it so fucking hard. Right. Because then I'll put it on the podcast, I'll put it on YouTube, or at least clips of it or whatever. We'll do something with it. I want to crush it so hard because I'm with you where it's like, do I like talking about inflatables? Yeah, dude, I love this business. Do I like talking about Christmas lights? Yes, dude, I love that business too. However, like entrepreneurship, like business as a whole is what I'm obsessed with. And
Yeah.
so it's kind of like I see that down the line as kind of the future, you know what I mean? And everything that you're saying, like um not that my opinion matters that much, but like, dude, I think you're doing it all like you got the online store and then you've got the YouTube channel that's going to feed the online store. Like literally that's my blueprint. Like that's what I've built too. And yeah, so I think that's super cool.
It's cool. I feel like I used to always say I'm an entrepreneur, or I used to always say I'm an esthetician first. And now I feel like the esthetician was like the vehicle that got me to entrepreneurship because this is what really fuels me is not I love skincare and that was like my first love, but now it's really like the business of skincare and like helping estheticians and helping other people like build. And I have estheticians that will go out solo all the time and they're like, hey, can you help me with this? And I have a girlfriend who owns a med spa in Denver, 30 minutes away, and she'll have me come out and like train her people on like how to retain clients and how to build and sell and stuff like that. So yeah, I just love it. I love all of it. I love being an entrepreneur, good and the bad. You know what I mean? I would never in a million years go work for somebody else just because I know how I want to do things. I know it's the right way, you know.
Yes. Somebody once
Love it.
asked me recently, semi-recently, they're like, how much would it take the company that I left? How much would it take them to like re-recruit you back? And I was like, $700,000 a year. And they like started laughing. They're like, 700, what? I'm like, I'd still like $700,000 a year is a fuckload of money. Like
You would
I
do it for like
still
1 year, save your money, and then you'd leave and go back,
for
right?
sure. I'm
And
like,
then reinvest it back in your business.
yeah, I'm like, dude, even 700,000 might not be enough though, because I don't like I just could not imagine going back into a world where I have to be told or like people tell me what to do and my opinion is not heard.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all
That's
right,
what I love it because you get to create something different, right, for your people. Like, so
right.
that's one thing I tell my team, like the number one goal here is the client experience, but what's equally with that number one goal is to create a space for like my team to be able to thrive. Like your voice is like valid here. Like I want to hear your opinion. Like I want to grow this amazing brand, but I want to grow it with you guys, not for anybody, not for me or whatever. I want to grow it with people. I want to grow like a community and a team of people where I want in 5 years from now, everybody that works for me right now, they're trainers. They're like top in the industry and they feel like I was the catalyst that helped them get there. And we all did this and created this like amazing community and grow together. Right. Because so many employers want to keep their employees down here. And I'm like, I want you to fucking supersede me, like grow. I want to help you grow. Let me fucking water that soil for you. Let's grow together, you know?
Do you do anything with your employees as far as, sweat equity is kind of like the main kind of term, but do you have any ownership stuff you do with them? Do you have any or plans to do anything like that? Other projects you loop them
I
in?
don't know. So I think a lot about franchising out one day, once I get all my SOPs in place. Can't do shit until that happens. But I do think a lot about like once, we get the big building, because I'm looking at buying a building, which is stupid expensive.
Oh, dude, in
Um,
Denver? Like I could only imagine what that
I
building
mean, we're
costs.
looking at like probably like 3, 4 million at least. But I'm like, but it would be mine forever. And I could make, one of the biggest, best med spots in the country. But then I'd like to franchise out. So my goal is, maybe within 5 to 8 years then is to be able to have these franchise opportunities for the people that have been here from ground up, to be like, all right, look, like who wants to run this location, or who wants to take this one on, and kind of do like that. But we do it. I invest a shit ton of money and time in them. So it always kind of sucks when one leaves, because I'm like, damn, I just spent, $5,000 on you in the last year to invest in this. And now you're going to take it to somebody down the street, which it's the industry. And so I've had two people leave this year that I just invested like a ton of money. And my first thought was like, damn, I just spent all that money on them. But then I thought, no, because truly what I want to do is make the industry better as a whole. Right. And so now that they're leaving, they're going to go make where they work even better because of what I invested into them. And so I have to be happy about that,
Yep, for sure. Yep. Yeah, I'm kind of trying to do the same thing where we're going to experiment here. We've already started experimenting here, but we're going to try and expand into a city that's a major city that's an hour away. And it's going to be on the back of one of my managers that I have now, right? And so, because he was like, well, what if I started an inflatable business out there? Like I'd still work for you, and I was just kind of like, bro, instead of that, how about we both do it?
Yeah.
Right? Because that's what I want to do eventually anyway. And then that adds so much value to him, right? Because yes, I want to absolutely retain my guys, but at this, like, I mean, you're speaking my language. It's like I can't do that by holding them back. Like,
Yeah.
Can't do that by threatening them or scaring them that it's harder than that I make it look, or what all the other cliches. It's like, oh, I'd just rather partner with them and like, let's go conquer the world together, dude.
Totally.
That's
cool.
badass. Okay. Anything random on your mind? Anything else that you wanted to bring up?
No, this was fun.
Cool.
Thanks for all the tips. I've had a blast today. Yeah, this was super cool. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Did you go back to the Blox for round 2 or no?
No, I was going to, and I just didn't have the time. Like, I know. I hate feel like I'm too lazy. I know. But like for real, like, I mean, I have to like prioritize, and I still have all my notes and everything from the blogs. I feel like I haven't been able to even implement any of
For
that.
sure. I agree
So
with that.
I'm like, and I do a ton with like Grant Cardone and Cardone Ventures. I do so many different things besides the blocks that I'm like, I really just want to like focus on like, I've got to get these SOPs, like, because I'm never going to be able to step out as much as I want to until I get everything super streamlined. So that's like my top priority right now. And then it's cool because I was talking to one of my managers the other day about, I forget which one of the lessons that we learned at the Blox, and I was like, damn, that's a good one. I need to go back to my notes and read that. So I just want to like go back and figure everything out. I'd like to go back maybe next year, but I did get invited to that. And then there was another thing that I got invited to. But that sold out like super quick.
Oh,
I forgot.
check.
Did you know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
One that sold out, the one that's like not
Good.
on, it's
Good.
not going to be on
Supposed to be a
TV.
secret.
Yeah. Yeah.
um
Wes and his secrets.
yeah. So have you talked to anybody that went back? Right. So it probably makes sense for you to go back because you had the fucking flu while you were there. So your experience, right? I was fully healthy while I was there, and I absolutely loved it and devoured it and did not think it would be that knowledge heavy, and just absolutely loved it. But then like I'm watching all these people go back, and I swear to God, there's somebody that's been back 2 times. And I'm kind of like, what's the why? Like, I don't understand why.
I don't know either. And it's interesting because I've heard people say that there's no need for them to go back unless it's a different, like something different, but then they still went back and it was the same. So I don't know. I mean, maybe they just want to like, they want a refresher. To me, it was worth every freaking penny. And I told Wes he could have charged way more and it would have still been valuable. But I just feel like my time is better spent invested in my business and like being here and then figuring out everything that I learned from there and like learning how to implement that and execute that before I go back. Because I've had a really bad habit the last couple of years, because we've had the financial aspect too, for me to go and like learn from all these like top people. But then I have notebooks everywhere in my fucking house filled with information that from like 3 years ago that I still haven't fucking implemented. Cause I'm like, I don't even know how to do that yet. So I feel like I need to like slow my roll and that kind of stuff and like keep going through all my notes and all the things that I've learned and figure out like more game plans on how to implement that and grow from there
Yeah, I
before
agree.
I start running.
Have you ever heard of a book called The E-Myth Revisited?
I have it.
It's
I have an audiobook
okay.
that
So
I'm listening to.
I read it, and then that's where I was kind of like, that's where it was like a scary moment where I was like, oh my God, I've set my business up. Like I'm like the pie lady in the book. You know what I mean? And that's when I started creating things to try and kind of streamline the process
Yeah.
to take me out of it. And I mean, I've only executed on like probably 1/8 of the ideas that I had from reading the book. But just by doing those, and then almost like kind of osmosis, right? It's just cognizant on my mind to where I've much more. I've always been like an empowering manager, but now I'm kind of like, I've got to let them fly. I've got to let them fuck up and just like really take a step back. And so that book has really, really, really gotten my businesses to the point they're at now, to where they're kind of like, I can step away.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. You're killing it, Nick. You're killing it.
Happy, dude. You're what is funny though is like whenever I like in-depth conversation with like Adam, like I had Adam from Rate Tracker on,
Uh-huh.
and like same, like so many similarities of what we talk about, what are right. And we went off on a tangent about company core values, and like empowering people and all that kind of stuff. Like obviously our conversation was much different, but that being said, like all the stuff you're talking about, I'm like, fuck, this is crazy. Like I feel the
Yeah.
same way. I have, similar projects, or I do, it's just funny to me how many similarities there is.
It's cool when you get to talk to entrepreneurs, right? They just get it, especially people that have like gone through the blocks too, right? Because there's so many different kinds of entrepreneurs, right? And I feel like the people that went to the blocks, I'd say at least the majority of them, like they're really invested in their business. Like they're spending money, they're taking time away, like they're invested. They want to grow. So it's cool to hear business is business no matter what. And that was a really tough lesson for me because I always thought like, well, my industry is different. My industry is different. Like you don't know skin, you don't know this and da da da. Like when I'd hear like corporate people talk about like how you grow like, a law firm or a construction company or whatever. And I'm like, this has nothing to fucking do with me. Like I touch people's faces for a living. Like we do Botox. Like it's totally different for me, but it's not. People are people, employees are employees, business is business, SOPs are SOPs, like you got legalities, you got finances, and you've got operations and everything else, and business is business.
For
So
sure. Yeah. Yeah. I could talk to business people like all day long. Like
yeah.
about, it doesn't matter what they bring up. Like I've got an opinion on it. I've got something that I do. I've got a story, whatever. I could just talk for days.
Yeah. Well, this
So
was cool. Thanks for having
very
me
cool.
on.
Absolutely. So, all right. Plug all your stuff one more time, especially the YouTube channel. You guys go subscribe to our YouTube channel.
All right. Obsessed with Skincare is the YouTube channel, and the website is obsessedwithskincare.com for people that are looking for skincare to purchase. But yeah, thanks for having me on. Love it.
Absolutely,
Appreciate
dude. It was fun. So
it. Okay.
stay in the room here. I'm going to end this recording, and then we can chat a little bit afterwards. For all of you guys that were watching and or listening, hit the subscribe button. We love you. All right. Later.